Happy birthday.
Oh,
Wow.
Happy birthday,
Melvin.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Happy
birthday,
Melvin.
Happy birthday, Melvin.
Melvin.
Happy birthday.
Thank you
Happy
so much.
birthday, Melvin. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Tom.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Who said happy birthday, Mr. Tom?
Me. Alex. Tap.
Oh,
Me.
all right. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for the surprise. Thanks, Jenny.
that's okay. Well, I'm here for a little bit. If you guys want to ask me any questions, but I just wanted
Jenny?
to. What?
I can't see the questions. Is there any questions?
No, in the chat. Like, if anyone had any questions for Melvin and I. I see if you're not doing. Okay.
Jenny. You're
Oh,
on
sorry,
mute.
I was muted. Yes. Did someone say something?
Me.
I'm very boomer, so I still don't know how to use Zoom.
Jenny.
What? Who's that? Yes. Hi. What's up? Sure.
If you've marked the writing yet, can you give us any feedback on the writing if you've marked some of it?
Haven't started marking yet. I'll give you more comprehensive feedback next week in class after maths.
Okay.
Yeah. So today we'll just focus more on general ability and reading. I know there was some pretty hard, like there was some general ability, it was kind of hard. So, oh, unless Melvin, did you want to go through any maths concept for this week?
No, not really. I think a few students wanted to go through specific math questions, but is there any general ability questions that you want to go through?
Yeah.
Which ones? Jen?
One. I don't know how to use Zoom.
Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so just tell me and I'll zoom into that one for you.
Okay.
Melvin.
Yeah, Derek?
Well, I know this, but like I get a bit confused in this one. It's this smiley face one, then the unhappy face one, and the medium face one. That one's a little bit confusing. I know we went through class, but like I just want to double check if I know.
Yeah, sure. Would you like me to go through that question? Me or Jenny to go through that question?
If it's possible.
All right. So I think I remember the solution was something like it should have gone happy, then neutral, then sad, but then they go as in they fill in like this, right, Jenny?
Yes.
And then was it that from the first happy to the second happy? Wait, no. How did it go again? Sorry.
Yep. So if you guys look at the first smiley face to the second smiley face,
So
is it in the same row or does it move down any spots? If that makes sense.
No.
It's in the same row, right? So we would say that that's +0. Like the row, like the movement of that smiley face, even though it's another column, it's still in the same row. So it's +0, right? Because we're just focusing on going down. So if you look at the second smiley face to the third smiley face, so skip the other faces for now, how many spots down does it move compared to the first row?
I know.
Yes. How many?
3.
3, right? Okay. So for these kind of questions, it's easier to focus on one thing at a time compared to the others. So, okay, we looked at the smiley face. Let's look at the neutral face next. The neutral face, the second neutral face, how many spots down does it move?
2.
I know it's in a different column, but again, we're just focusing on the rows for now. So from the first neutral face to the second neutral face, how many spots down does it move by? 2?
1.
1? Well, how many squares?
3.
3. Good. So we do +3. So far we have happy face. It goes +0, +3. Neutral face goes +0. We don't know the next one. So let's move to the sad face for now. And we'll look at the sad face. From this It's a bit blocked by the arrows, but from the first sad face to the second sad face, does it move down or does it stay at the same level?
It goes up. It
Same
stays at
level.
the same level.
Yeah, so it's +0. Wait, I think Melvin wrote, yes. I can see a text, but hold on. Yes. Give me a sec, guys. One +2 +3. Oh, +4. Do you guys see what Melvin's drawing on the board?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's two ways of describing this pattern. Mine is a bit confusing, but Melvin just showed me an easier way. So if you look, it goes from, what order does the faces go? So it goes happy, neutral, sad, right? Happy, neutral, sad. Yeah. Good. So then from the happy face to the neutral face, how many spots does it move down by? 1, +1. And then from the neutral face to the sad face, it moves down by
2,
2. Sad face to the happy face plus,
3.
because it goes back up to the top, okay? So it's happy face to the neutral face is +4, and so on, okay? So that is a much easier way of describing it. Does that make sense? Karen? Make sense? Good.
Jenny,
Yes.
could you please do question 26?
26. Which one's that one? Oh, 26. Okay, so it's a bit confusing. Okay, hold on. Let me think of like an easy way to explain this. So Melvin, can you label that black square as 1 and then the next squares as 2, 3, 4? So 1, and the next one is 2, 3, 4. So to you guys, can you do that for the rest as well? If that's okay. Thank you. So if you do it for the rest, I'll just start from the top, as in like,
Oh, right.
yeah. So white one is 1, 2, 3, and the black one is 4. Okay. Yep, and so on. Okay. Do you guys see how it's going from top to bottom? I'm ordering it as 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys see that? Okay. So in the first picture, which square is the closest to you? Like on the top of the pile, like closest to you? In the first picture.
2.
2, right? Okay, so you circle 2. Just circle 2. And then in the second one, which one's the one on top, closest to you again?
3.
3. How about the next one?
4.
The next one?
1.
So the pattern is 2, 3, 4, 1, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys see that? How it's always on top? So the next one has to be
2.
which option is that? The only option is
C.
C. So to me, I think this question, I think there's a pattern for the black one, but the black square, but to me, it's a bit of a red herring. So if you guys don't know what that means, it means like they make you think it's important, but it's not actually, because if you look at the order of the squares, it doesn't matter where the black square is, right? So that's how I got to that answer. Does that make sense?
A little.
A little?
Sense.
It makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. What are we? Week 5, question 28. 28. Okay. So, can you just quickly zoom into that one? Yeah. Okay. In the first picture, can you split it into 4 quadrants for me? Okay. So if you all look at the Okay, can you guys find the upside down T in each picture? Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah. There's
Yes.
a sort of like an upside
Yeah.
down T.
Yes, I already know it.
Okay, okay. So I'll just quickly finish explaining it though. So if you look for the upside down T, in the first picture, it's in the top right quadrant, right? Top right, and then it goes to bottom right. So +1 clockwise. And then the next one, bottom left. And then top left. So next one has to be?
Top right.
Yay!
Top right. Top right.
And the only option is D.
D.
Just in case there was another option that had the T in the same spot, you would look for the same pattern for a different block. So like if you look at the first picture, there's the 3 squares on the bottom or the singular red square. That also works. Okay, I just went through question 28. Hannah,
Jenny?
yes. Wait, sorry, give me a second. Hannah, did you get question 28? Because I just went through it.
Yeah.
And then I'll go through 30. Okay, someone asked the question as well.
Jenny, it was question 21.
21. Okay, I'll just quickly go through 30 first, because that was asked next. Question 30. Okay, so we have, okay, so you focus on the columns. So columns is, can you tell me which direction is it in? Is it vertical or horizontal?
Vertical.
Vertical, right? So if you look at the first column, we'll just call it column 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so what is IV? Let's look at the first row. So what is IV as a number?
4.
4. Okay, look at column 3. What is VI?
10.
6.
I was thinking X.
Yeah.
thinking
Wait, what is 4 plus 6?
10.
What's the Roman numeral for 10?
X.
X. So you look at the next row. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. So
It is
1 plus X or 10, sorry, equals
11.
11. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
XI.
Yeah.
Question 21, was it next?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. 21, 21, 21. Okay. Oh, okay. This one's a bit of a tricky one, but if you just look at the question, can you scroll up a little bit? Thank you. Okay. So the lines kind of got cut off, but you can just assume that they're all diamonds in each of the squares, right? Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was drawing it in right now. Yeah, so they're all diamonds like that. So if you look, ignore the outside dot for now. Just look at the inside dot. In the first picture, the first diamond, the inside dot is on the right or the left?
Right.
Right. And then in the next one, is it on the right or the left?
Left.
Left.
So
Left.
next one,
Right.
next one,
Right.
next one.
Right.
So it's just changing from right to left, right to left, right to left, right? So the middle diamond, the inside dot at least has to be on the left or the right.
So it's C?
Right.
Yes, on the right, yeah. See, that's the only option. Because, and you'll see that the outside dot, if you're curious, is actually going inside, outside, inside, outside. So if you draw, yeah,
Is it going clockwise?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, question 17. Oh, yeah, are we all good with 21?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Just message me if you still not sure, or if I'm going too quick. So we need question 17.
Jenny,
Yes.
you forgot to say what was homework.
Next week's homework. I mean, it's pretty obvious by now, but what is next week's homework?
Math.
Maths. Just maths. What?
Cognitive reasoning.
Yes, cognitive reasoning. Oh, you sound so excited. I love it. Homework, yay!
Is that the only
Scared
homework?
actually.
Question 17. Okay, question 17. So this is similar to the Roman numeral one. So we'll look at columns again. So we have column 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, no writing this week. Okay, so in column 1, how many dots does it have in the first box?
3.
3. Next one?
4.
Okay, so imagine if you stack that 3 dots on top of the 4 dots. Now, can you circle the dots that overlap? Do you guys see how these dots overlap? And
Yeah.
the next one? Okay. So when you put them on top of each other, if they overlap, you turn them white and you get rid of all the other dots. So in the next picture, in the next row, you have that middle dot. It overlaps the dot for the 5 one. So you just leave that one singular dot and you get rid of the rest. So in the last row, you have 4 dots and you have 1 dot. Do any of them overlap?
No.
No. So do you have anything in the last box then? No, you can't because nothing overlaps. So nothing remains. You get rid of everything that doesn't overlap. Make sense?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Question 17, please. Oh, wait, sorry, question 19. I just did question 17. Okay. Question 19. Okay, so look at the first position of the triangle. It goes to the next corner of the pentagon by how many spots or how many corners does it jump?
1.
1. Okay.
And it's around 180
It skips
degrees.
the
One.
turns around.
Sorry? Okay, so the next triangle goes to the second triangle to the third triangle, skips 2 corners.
2. Because
So
it
it comes 2. Good. And then the next
turns
one has to jump by 1. So plus 1, plus 2, plus 1. So next one has to be plus.
and it has plus 2.
Okay, so that means we either have A or B, okay? Now,
It's B.
what do we do? Okay, we know it's B.
I know.
Okay. Okay, do you want to explain that?
Harish, you're muted. Just unmute yourself really quickly.
Harish,
Harish, you're muted.
you're muted. Did you want to explain it?
I wanted to explain it.
Okay, you did it or you did? Sorry.
Can I explain it?
Yeah. Why is it B and not A?
Because it switches around 1. When it goes up, it turns up, and when it goes to the other side, it turns down, up, down, and this one, the last hex, the pentagon was a triangle was up, so it skips 1 and goes to down.
Does that make sense to everyone? So in the first picture, the triangle points down and then it points up. Next one points down, up, down. So it has to be B. Okay. Was there any other questions that you were stuck on?
Jenny,
Yes.
is question 17 the same thing as question 24?
So if you can zoom out for me really quickly, Melvin. Question 17, keep scrolling. Question 24, question 30, question 27, pretty much all the similar patterns, except they're just different objects inside. So in question 27, you guys can obviously see that column 1 and column 3 added together, you get column 2. Question 30 with the Roman numerals that we did earlier, same thing. Like the 4 plus 6 equals 10, right? And I think question 24 is the same thing as well.
Okay.
So it's different, yeah. Alrighty. Any other questions?
Jenny,
Yes,
I don't understand question 23.
23. 23 is, okay. So I'm sure you know the Fibonacci sequence, right? So 0 plus 1 is?
1.
1 plus 1 is?
2,
2 plus 1 is?
3,
3 plus 2 is?
5.
And so on. Okay, so I'm boring you here. So if we look at this pattern, instead of plus, we actually have times. So 1 times 2 equals?
2,
2 times 2 equals?
4,
4 times 2 equals?
8,
8.
8 times 4 equals?
32,
32 equals, oh, 32 times 8 equals?
2, 5,
5, 6,
256 times 32 equals?
8, 1, 92.
Yeah, 8,192. Yeah. Does that make sense? Suresh, I think you asked that one.
Can you repeat it?
Repeat it. Okay. So
Yeah.
what's 1 times 2?
2,
2 times 2.
4,
2
times
and
2?
4,
8,
8,
8 times 4?
32,
32 times 8?
2, 5, 6,
256.
256 times 32?
8192.
8,192.
Got it.
Got it.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. Are we all good for generability? You guys are all
Yes.
giga brain about it?
Did you do 32?
32?
Kelly, can you please explain number 31?
31 and 32. Okay. Okay, I'll quickly do 32 first, and then 31 we'll need to draw out. So what is I as a number?
3.
IX.
9.
So 3, 9, XX, VII.
$27.
And LX, so L is 50, XXX,
81,
31. So 50
81.
plus, yep, the 81. So 3 to 9 is times by
3.
3. 9 times 3 equals
3.
27. I think you said that. 27 times 3 equals?
Times 3.
81,
Okay, 81
81.
times 3 equals
243.
243. Yeah. Okay, I'll go through 31 first and then I'll go to 24. Okay, so 81 times 3 is 243, which is CCXLII, which is C. Yeah. Okay, question to 31. Okay, this one is a bit tricky to see, but in the first picture, can you see how the two diagonal boxes sort of forms a diagonal line like that? Okay, and then the next one forms a vertical line. Next one is a horizontal line, and next one is the other diagonal. If you stack that all on top, all those lines on top, you get that shape or that yeah. Okay, where is the first dot? One. Can you guys see how there's one dot where the orange one is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next dot has to be the rightmost on the horizontal. Yep. So from the first dot to the second dot, how many spots do you jump over?
Plus 3.
Plus 3.
3.
Plus 3, and then it's safe to assume that you plus 3 again for the next dot, right? So you get to that spot. Yep. Can you guys see how the answer is C? Because can you draw a circle around that diagonal for me, please, Melvin?
Circle on a diagonal.
Yeah. So in the map, can you just draw the orange circle around that diagonal? Just the one diagonal. Sorry.
This one.
Yeah, that one. Do you guys see how that's the shape of C? How the two diagonal boxes are stacked in that diagonal shape?
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's why the dot is at the bottom. So that's why it's C. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. 24 and 25. Okay, 24. Oh, we'll do 25 first. Okay. Okay, so let's do this the long way. XLI, what number is that? 10, 50,
41.
and 1.
One.
So 41, good. So 41. Okay, M is
1,000.
good. VI,
6.
6, and X is.
20.
Is there any pattern that you guys can see that
number of
relates? Sorry?
It's a number of lines.
Good. So just before we get to that though,
You're muted, Jenny.
yeah. Okay, I think I'm okay now. So it's kind of hard to relate each of those numbers together. 41, 1,000, 6, 10, like we can't relate them together, right? So you look for something else. So for this pattern, how many strokes does 40, the Roman numeral 41 have? So X has 2 strokes. So you go 2,
5.
yep, 5 altogether. 1. So 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5 strokes altogether. M has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Four.
So good. And VI, 1, 2, 3. And finally, X is 1 and 2. So what's the pattern? It's going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
1.
Yes. So it doesn't even, okay, I really recommend that you guys know Roman numerals. You might ask, why do we need Roman numerals? It's the flex. You guys can be like, I can count in Roman numerals. And then your friends will be like, okay. So, nah, but in GATE, they'll probably assume that you know Roman numerals. So it's best to learn it for GATE at least, okay?
Definitely just the basic ones. So even in maths, you definitely need to know the basic ones because I think like in a lot of math. So when you get to high school, I think Garrick and Naman might attest to this. Do you guys use the Pearson book?
Pardon?
It's a bit hard to
Yeah.
read.
Which maths book do you guys use? Is it Pearson?
I'm pretty sure it's either Pearson or Oxford.
Yeah. So Janum, I remember, it was Pearson, right? Yeah, and then Anson also said Pearson. Yeah, so I also did the Pearson book in high school. So I think I graduated like 4 years. Wait, I did year 8 years ago, I think. So I remember the Pearson book still used Roman numerals that you need to know. So you definitely need to know the basic ones, like, up to at least like 20 sort of thing. But after that, like, for example, M and L and stuff, you really like it might be a bit too advanced, but at the same time, it's not that hard. Like it's just one extra letter, right? So it's just L is something and M is 1,000 and things like that.
Question 24, was it? Okay, question 24 was the same as question 27 and 30. So if you look at okay, so column 1, 2, and 3 again. Oh, yeah. So in column 1, we have these 3 dots, they overlap each other. The ones that are being colored in orange. So so just before we do that though, column 1 plus column 3, if you stack them on top of each other, you look for the ones that overlap. Yep, which is the ones that Melvin highlighted, except for the white one. Yeah. And then okay, so those 3, can you see how it forms that pattern in the middle, but it turned white, right? So you do the same thing for the next row. So that the square with 4 blocks and the square with 8 blocks, these 3 overlap if you stack them on top of each other. So just imagine like you cut them and then you put them on top. And then so the last one, these 2 overlap. So the answer has to be D. Do you guys understand that? Yep, cool. And finally 18. Okay, 18. Okay. 18. You can't just do B to C is +1, C to E is plus. Right, C, D, E +2, F is +1. So next one is just +2. So G, H. Make sense?
Can you explain that again?
Yes. So B to C is plus. So A, B, C. So you plus 1, right? C to E, D, E. E to F, F. So plus 1, plus 2. Plus 1, plus 2. So F, G, H. So the answer has to be H. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So I think that's all. Thank you so much, Jenny, for coming in today and also for the surprise. I really didn't
All
expect.
right. I hope you enjoyed. Do you want to go through the last two then?
Which two are they?
I think Aline is asking 22 and 29.
Oh, 22. Oh, this one? We already went through 22, right?
I don't think so, but it's very easy. You just go, so 1, 2, 4, and 8. So the numbers are doubling each time, okay? So 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, so 8 to 16. 16. And quickly, 29 is, so same thing with the other letters. So C to E is DE plus 2. Yep. E, F, G, H plus 3. And then I, J plus 2. So plus 2, plus 3, plus 2, plus 2. So it has, open Alina. No worries. All right, guys. Okay, if there's no more questions, I will see you guys in class on Monday and Saturday.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Nice. Okay, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you, Jenny. Bye.
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 All right. So now that you guys gone through all of generability, is there any other questions you'd like me to go through?
Yes.
Yeah. One.
Melvin, why did you unmute me?
Melvin.
You unmute.
Yeah, you
Melvin.
unmuted us.
Sorry,
Can
one
you
sec.
do question 32 as well? Because I didn't get that one written down.
Yeah. So I'll just show it to you, but you can just check it out on the video. But it's pretty easy. It's just multiplying by 3 each time.
Melvin,
Yeah.
something just happened to my computer.
Okay. Yeah.
Melvin,
So yes, Garrick.
something just happened to my computer. Like I just got randomly kicked out and came on again. I just got kicked out again. Like I got kicked out again. Then I
Okay.
came back in. Like I just get. It's weird.
Okay. I don't know much about that. All right. So now that this is done, we have 20 minutes. Is there any questions from the previous weeks that you guys would like me to go through that we might have missed out?
Week 1.
Yep. Which question?
Week 1, number 7 and 9.
Okay, let's go through some number 7 first. So Tony is an architect and he wants to build a house on a plot of land that is 225 meters squared. He is told that he can only build a house that is 10 times the square root of the area of that plot. How big is his room? So what is the square root of 225?
15.
Yep. And then it can be 10 times that. So 15 times 10 is equal to 100.
150.
Yep, that's it. Good job, Pav. And question number 9, what is the area of this shape? So this shape here, let's draw some lines here. So it says that the distance between the leftmost part to the right is 30. So from here to here, it is 30. And then it says that it can be equally divided in each shape. So this is 10, it's 10, and this is 10. And then it asks what's the area of the shape. Now, in a circle, if this distance, oops, I'm going to use a different line. If this distance is equal to 10, then this distance must also equal to 10, correct?
Yeah.
So that would mean that this shape has a width of 10 and a height of 10. So this shape is a square. You guys understand that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So let me rub this out. Now. Okay. So the area of a square is equal to 10 length times width, which is 10. That is equal to 100 centimeters squared. Then the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared, where pi is 3.14 and the radius is half of 10, which is 5 squared. And that is equal to, can anyone tell me?
31.4.
78.5. And this would be the same, 78.5. And then 78.5 times 2 is equal to 157. So 100 plus 157 is equal to 2. Oh, wait, did I get it wrong? No, 257. All right. Any other questions?
Yes.
Nope.
Question number 6.
Number 6 of
It's like Hansa had a question week 4, 5, and 9 that she sent in at the very start of the class. I'll quickly do those two first. 5 and 10.
okay.
5 and 9. So a circle with a radius of 2 is drawn with the center at -5, 2. The shape is in translator right 4 and then down 3. So let me draw the shape. It's -5 and then +2. So the circle is where the center is here. That is translated 4. It's translated 4 right, so it's moved here, and it's down 3, so it's down here. So now it's at -1, -1, because 2 minus 2 is 0, and then minus 1 more to get -3 is equal to -1. And then -5 move all the way right, so +4 is equal to -1. So Hamza, do you understand that?
Yes.
Perfect.
I have a general ability question.
Yeah, just send it through. Send it to the chat. So Hamza, your question, this one. Same thing. Essentially, you draw. Oops. You draw the thing. Cartesian plane. And then you draw the coordinate at 2, 2. Then the coordinate is translated 2 points up, 1, 2, and then 5 points left. And then it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now it's at +4. Oh, sorry, oops. It's at -3, 4. And then it's translated across the x-axis. And this is our x-axis. So when you translate it, it becomes the exact opposite, and it becomes -3, -4. Do you understand that, Hamza? All right. Advik, week number 3, question number 16. Let's see if I still remember this. Is it this question, Advik? Huh?
Yeah.
Perfect. So in this question, you basically have 2 triangles, right? One is this. The one is X.
என்னம்மா
Okay. So there's two triangles like this, right? Now the red one is going down, down, up, up. Do you see that? Oh, oops. Do you see the red triangle is up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Down, down. And then the yellow triangle is going up, down, up, down. The next one should be the red one should be down, and then the right one should be up. So I think the only one that makes sense is A. Down and up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see next. Galaxy Tab A said week 1, 7, and 9. So we just went through that. Aaron said question 31, week 5. I think we went through that today. Tanya, yeah, we went through that. Dion, week 4, math question number 8. Question number 8. All right. I'll finish off with this question and I'll let you guys go on a break. Just read the messages 1 second. Yeah, so we've gone through them. Perfect. So I'll quickly do Dion's one, and then you can go on your break. So school has 10 classes, each with the same number of students. One day the weather was bad and many students were absent. 5 classes were half full. So if 5 classes were half full, then 2.5 classes were completely full. 3 classes were 3/4 full. 3 classes that are 3/4 full is the same as 2.75 classes that are full, I think. Or oops, no, I think it's 2.25. 25 classes that are full. And 2 classes are 1/8 empty. So that means 2 classes are 7/8 full. So that should be 1.75 classes that are full. So what percentage of the 10 classes are completely full? When you add these all up, you get 6.5x. So 6.5x classes are full. That means 3.5 classes are empty. 3.5 classes is equal to 70 students. You understand that, Dion, so far?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to move this across here.
Melvin,
Yes?
could you please go to week 5, the Angela and Davis comprehension question 5?
1 second. I'm going to take a question and then I'll go do that. All right. So 3.5 is equal to 70, right? So 3.5 to 1x, you divide by 3.5. And you do the same thing here. You divide by 3.5 and you get 20. That means 1 full class is equal to 20 students. So 10 full classes is equal to 200 students. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Angela Davis, question number 5. This one here. Is it?
Yes.
Sorry. Hello?
I'm pretty sure he said yes.
Yeah. Sorry, who was the question? Hello. Okay, I don't think the person who asked the question is here in the chat anymore. What I'll do is I'll let you guys go on your break now. Okay? So come back at 6 o'clock for Maria's class.
Oh my god.
Maria,
Yes.
when does our break end?
We'll start at 6. We normally start at 6, right? Yeah.
Melvin said the breaks ends at 6.
Yeah. Awesome. So we'll start at 6. I'll give people a little bit of time to jump on. Alina,
Yeah.
I noticed you have like an education email, not a personal email. So last week when you wanted the PDF, I actually wasn't allowed to send it to you because you had an education email. I'm not sure why, but
Okay. I'll
yeah,
send you my personal email then.
Yeah.
Maria,
yes.
you didn't send me the things.
Yeah,
Do you
same
have
with me.
Was it an education email or was it like
No.
All right, awesome.
personal.
Can you do that right now while there is
It
minimal
was like
people?
the syntax. It was syntax last week and this week too now.
Okay, awesome. So if you can put that in, I'm so sorry. There were a couple of people who missed out last week. That's on me. So if you want something, if you missed out on last week, if you could put your email in now, that would be great before class starts.
Maria, I sent it to you now.
Awesome.
Me too.
Thanks.
Maria,
Yes.
I also sent you my email because can you please send me like all the lessons, the documents of the lessons?
Yep, no problem. Just again, very quickly, if you have a education email, I won't be able to send it to you from my normal email. So just personal emails only. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Maria, could you send me all 3 too?
Yep, guys, don't worry. I'll just put it all in one big document. I think they're all sitting on top of each other anyways, except for this one. This is its own separate document. So I'll have to deal with this one on its own.
Maria,
Yes.
what's your Gmail? Is it Loyola Tutoring?
My personal email
The one that you're sending?
is mariapaul8789@gmail.com. But why do you need that? Sorry.
I was checking if you sent anything.
Yeah. So if you didn't end up receiving it, I might have accidentally missed you, or you had an education email and it wouldn't let me send it to an education address. But I think I got all the people that missed out last time anyway. I think, hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay, 2 minutes.
Mario,
Yes,
even though we're on our break, can we start writing it down?
of course you can. Yes, you don't have to ask permission for that. That's okay. A lot of the information that I will be saying today is not actually on the document. It is in my brain because I really, really like talking about theme. So I didn't think it was necessary to put it all down in a document. So if you do need me to repeat something or you'd like a definition at the end of the lesson, you can just ask for that specific part again.
Maria. Maria,
Yes.
what does that like first word say?
Oh yes, that's another reason why I this one, that one.
The one above.
Oh, objectives.
Did you write that at 108?
108? What do you mean?
108 p.m.
No, that's when it was last edited. Why?
Oh.
Yeah.
And it is 6 o'clock. Yes, I'll take final questions now before we start.
I just sent you my personal email.
Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, I hope everybody is ready to start. I'm sure I'll have a few more people joining in a couple of seconds, but you did get quite a longer break than normal this time around. Okay, so I hope everyone is doing well. I'm about to put you all on mute so that we can avoid any kind of background noise. So today I thought that last week I got a really good question from Naman, and the question was, how would you link theme to your narrative? And funnily enough, I'd actually never had to work backwards. When I write my stories and when I teach people to write their stories, I always ask that they write the story and then the theme is produced with whatever the prompt was, because whether we like it or not, themes are created without intention half of the time. So we're going to be going through theme, and we're also going to be going through genre today as well. I'm going to start off with the basic definitions for each, and then we'll just go through the steps for that. Okay. All right. So theme is a literary device, and it's the main idea or the underlining meaning a writer explores in a novel, short story, or any other literary work. The theme of a story can be conveyed using characters, setting, dialogue, plot, or a combination of all these elements. Okay, and I'm starting to think that people are going to want that definition down. So if you give me a second, I'll write it very quickly in the corner of the page.
Could you also put it in the chat?
At the end, I would rather just focus on one right now, or we won't be able to get through the full lesson if I write both, because it is a hefty one. So it is the main idea or the underlying meaning.
What's the difference between a genre and a theme?
The difference between genre and a theme is so theme is your underlying ideas or your main idea, and genre is a category that your text fits under, okay? But I will go into detail on that when we get to genre later on. Okay, so the theme is a main idea or the underlying meaning. A writer explores in their short story. I'll make it a little bit shorter for you guys. So I'm gonna leave it there. Sorry, my writing is atrocious today. And let me know if you cannot understand any of the words there. But that is the definition of theme, a literary device, not so much a literary device. It is the main idea or underlining meaning a writer explores in a novel, short story, or literary work. The theme of a story can be conveyed, and this part you might want to get down. It can be conveyed through your characters, your setting, your dialogue, plot, or a combination of all these elements, okay? So we have character plus plot plus dialogue plus setting equals theme. Yay. Okay. So in short stories, the theme may be a moral or a message. So for instance, we'd be looking at the theme of something, let's say like, don't judge a book by its cover. That might be a theme in a short story, all right? In longer narratives, the central theme is usually broader and can be interpreted differently by readers. Most of the time, you'd be exploring an aspect of society, whether it's in its foundation or humanity. And as I guess as you move up in year level, you'll start to look at the foundations of society and trying to incorporate those foundations into your narratives. Some people in some of the stories I have read by year 5s, year 6s, and year 7s have been able to do that, but it does take practice, and you do have to actually understand what societal foundations are. So until then, and if you don't feel comfortable with that, you will be looking at more of a moral of your story or a message for your short stories, okay? So common themes that we have, let me just zoom out because I wrote them terribly here, but I will repeat them. So the common themes, and this is not all themes, this is, we have good versus evil, we have love, death, redemption, courage and perseverance, coming of age, revenge, power and corruption. Yeah, I would say that those are the common ones. That does not encompass all of them. And I'm sure there are common ones that I am missing, but the ones that I could think of today were here. Okay, so if anybody needs any kind of clarification on what those words mean, I'll just define like redemption very quickly, just in case people are a bit confused by that. So redemption just means the action of saving or being saved from something. Perseverance is just persistence and doing something that's quite difficult. And corruption is being dishonest or fraudulent when you are in a position of power. Okay.
What does prejudice mean?
Prejudice. Okay. So prejudice is when you hold on, let me think. Hold on. Okay. So prejudice is an opinion that you have of someone that is not based on like a real reason or an actual reason. It's I I don't want to, I'm trying to like
It's a
struggle with,
racist comment.
yes, that's a very good example. Thank you. I was blanking big time on an example for that. So yeah, it's just like an opinion you already hold of someone that's not based on actual fact, okay? All right, awesome. So those are the common themes that I could think of today. But obviously you want to be exploring other themes. Don't just look at the common ones. The reason I recommend using common themes is because it's likely you'll understand them and you've seen them many, many times, even if you don't necessarily recognize it. You might be thinking, oh my goodness, where have I read a novel that's been focused on redemption or revenge? But 8 out of 10 times, most of the novels that you read would hold these themes anyways, okay? All right.
What's a rare type of theme?
What's a rare type of theme?
Yeah.
A rare type of theme. Let me think of the themes that I like to write in. Okay, one of my common themes that I write, and one that, like I mentioned before, would be more societal. Societal themes are rarer. Let me think. It would be one of the ones that I like is society's inability to confront issues that don't directly relate to them. I know that is not very concise, but that is how I would put it when I was interpreting it from a novel. Society's inability to confront issues that don't directly relate to them. To exaggerate on that or to continue on that, if you're not too sure what I mean, it's basically saying when people don't like to look at issues or problems that don't affect them. All right. It'd be like every time the news turned on and there was a war, you switch to a different channel because it doesn't necessarily concern you. Okay. That would be an example of a rarer theme. Okay. Fantastic. So I find a lot of my own stories delve into human nature and particularly emphasizing the darker aspects of human nature because that's where I find that I'm more comfortable writing. This usually leads my stories to having much darker themes. So what we do is when you practice common themes, and when I was in year 5, I would be practicing common themes. Hold on, let me just mute everybody again. Okay, so when I was in year 5, I would be practicing common themes and they helped me develop my writing skills to more darker themes, okay? And that darker themes we'd be looking at like death, murder, a bunch of, you know, very, very dark, not so PG things. Okay, so also guys, I want you to understand that never once have I sat down to write a story and said, hey, today I feel like it's a good day to convey the theme of power and corruption through intense diction and an abundance of figurative language. I have never once sat down and gone, I'm gonna write a story based on the theme of love. No, I never start there. Okay, that's not where I want you to start. I don't want you to think, I really like the theme of revenge, so my story is going to be based on revenge. All right, that can actually derail your narrative elements or confuse you. Okay, you might end up writing a story about revenge, but actually hit the mark on the theme. Okay. Yeah, so it's yes.
Can you put everything in the chat? Like,
What do you
like the notes in the chat at the end of the lesson?
What notes?
Like the notes, like the creative writing notes, theme.
Okay, so you muted yourself halfway through. So the PDF in itself, if you want it again, if you gave me your email last week, I can just send it to you again, but just let me know right at the end of the lesson, okay? If that's what you're asking for. And also this document might not be the best to give as an example, as my writing is atrocious. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was saying. The point I'm trying to make is that your elements of narrative are going to influence your theme. It is not the other way around. Theme doesn't influence narrative. Your narrative elements are what construct your theme, okay? When we look at the examples above, which were good versus evil, redemption, love, death, prejudice, war, all of those themes, when we look at them, we need to consider how narrative elements will need to be constructed to pull them off. So we actually need to sit there and plan, okay? And when I talk about narrative elements, if people are confused what I mean by that, because I realized I didn't define it before I started talking about it. Narrative elements are just your characters, your plot, your dialogue, and your setting, okay? So like I wrote under the definition, the ingredients to make theme. And I'm happy to take questions on that if you're confused by narrative elements still. All right.
Maria,
Yes.
what do you mean by ingredients?
Okay, so what I mean by ingredients is, maybe it's not the best way to put it, but by using character, plot, dialogue, and setting, like how you would use ingredients in baking, my final product is theme.
Oh, okay, yeah, get it.
Okay. Anyways, okay. So an example that I thought that we could go through today is if I pick a theme and I try to show you how to work backwards in terms of, let's say you by some weird occurrence. Oh, okay, there's a bit of, just want to mute everyone again. Okay, so let's say by some like random occurrence, you have to actually write your theme first and then lead into your narrative. Sorry, but not lead in, but like you have a theme and you're writing for it. I'll give you an example of how we can do that. One of my biggest tips, which is why I incorporated genre in today's lesson, was because when I get a theme, let's say I do for some reason want to write about revenge as my main theme for the day, okay? I always try to link it with a genre because this shapes my narrative and takes away the thinking process, and it leaves less room for me to confuse myself with my narrative elements. Because when we have genre, our narrative elements are determined for us. You cannot have a genre, you cannot nail a genre if you don't have specific narrative elements, okay? So it just takes the thinking process out. All my narrative elements have been given. The genre of my story in this example, I'll say it'll be, I'm very crime mystery writer, so we're going to go with crime and mystery today as my example. And the theme I'll be trying to convey, what were the examples I gave? Okay, hold on. The theme I'll be trying to convey will be good versus evil. We'll keep it simple, okay? So my genre, I've picked it, is going to be crime and mystery, and my theme is going to be good versus evil. Very, very simple theme, good versus evil, because you can always find good and evil in a story, whether we notice it or not. And I'll explain that. There's a saying in narrative writing and even in general that you cannot have good without evil. A story is not balanced if it is completely good. A story will not achieve its purpose if there isn't a good balance between good and evil, depending on your plot, okay? And yeah.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope that helped. No problem. Okay. Anyways, so we have the example, and I'll break it down in terms of the narrative elements. Okay. So let's say that. Oh. I'll start off with character because if you look at if anybody is confused by what I mean by narrative elements, again, it is just under the definition. It's right at the top right corner, okay? So I'll start off with character. So my character is going to be a hard-boiled detective because that is an element of my genre. To have a detective that is quite cynical in a sense, and I'll define hard-boiled because I'm not referring to my character as being like submerged in hot water for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not even sure if that's how long it takes to boil an egg. Hard-boiled refers to being tough or cynical, okay? And cynical basically just means that you believe people are motivated by self-interest, so you don't really trust anybody, okay? So I have an untrusting, a very tough detective as my character. And usually people who are hard-boiled have been put through the ringer. They've experienced really difficult or trying conditions, okay? So if you ever want to use that, a hard-boiled detective in any of your stories, just acknowledge the fact that he might need to have a bit of context, that he might have been through something quite difficult. All right. The next one that isn't actually in the narrative elements listed in the top right corner, and if you want to write this down, would be point of view, okay? I find that when I write theme, it is easier for me, when I was practicing this working backwards, it was easier for me to write in first person. So I wrote in the point of view of my detective. The next part was setting. So I want my story to be set in New York. It's a detective, it's crime mystery. So it's going to be set in New York in the 40s because, well, one, that's when Captain America's era was, and also because I really enjoy noir. Okay. Noir is a genre in itself, and it's pretty much crime and mystery, but in a much darker sense. So I'll give you an example or some ideas of that era, the 40s in New York. You've got crime families, bards, jazz, fedoras. It was pretty much a wild time, okay? And the reason I'm bringing all these things up and I'm planning it out based on the narrative elements is because if I don't plan my narrative elements out first, I'm not going to be able to achieve the genre that I'm, achieve the theme that I'm after, okay? Okay, and the next part will go with plot. Okay. So when it comes to plot, oh goodness, plot is quite intense. And if anybody wants me to write this out, what I'm saying, I'll record myself and turn it into text now because the plot is quite a difficult part to get. It is where your theme is going to be born, okay? Your plot is going to hold your theme and make sure, and it's going to make sure that you execute it given everything, okay? So with plot, basically my narrative will begin at with my PI at his desk, which is the detective. He'll be pondering the murder and he'll be like super tortured by it. I mean, murder is pretty rough and who wouldn't be? It's late and he gets a visit from a capo. So a capo is another genre convention, okay, for noir and crime families. A capo is the head of a crime syndicate or the head of a crime family. So the capo and two of his, let's say bodyguards, although they'd be wearing suits and fedoras, they'd be clearly packing, and packing means to have a weapon concealed. Okay, so notice a lot of the language I am using, capo, packing, fedora. This is language that is associated to my genre. It's going to help me develop my theme throughout my novel, okay? So if you want to write down, I would write down that language is essential for forming theme and genre. And the best way to do that is if you're looking to really nail a certain era or genre, is to actually just go on the internet and search up whatever your theme is and vocabulary for it. And you'll get a long, long list. Okay. So I was up to the packing and the diction. Okay. My detective would basically
Can you scroll up for a second?
Scroll up. Okay. So so sorry, I lost my train of thought momentarily. So the couple would come in and his bodyguards would say, my boss wants to see you. My detectives have a bit of a back and forth with the detective has a bit of a back and forth with the bodyguards. And I'd probably try to add some humorous effect there because, again, one of the aspects of a hard-boiled detective in okay, I'm so sorry. I'm actually getting distracted. Someone is dancing, like TikTok dancing in the corner on one of the videos. If they could please stop, I would really, really appreciate that. So there is, geez, okay. Right, so I want to have some humor with my detective. So when we go back to character, a genre convention for a hard-boiled detective would be for them to have a little bit of a humorous personality. So to find humor in the darker, I guess, darker parts of the story. So maybe the murder, he might crack a joke. I know that seems quite dark, but that would be a convention for his character, okay? All right, so there would be some dialogue because no story is complete without a little bit of dialogue. And eventually with the plot, it would lead to my detective being threatened by the capos, okay? So we have the capos coming in and threatening the detective in his office. And that whole story would have no time jumps. It would occur in the office and it would end in the office. Even though it's a crime, it's in the crime mystery noir genre, my murder is not solved. There is no puzzle that is fixed. No revelations really do occur. And you might be wondering, well, how do you get a theme of good and evil from that? And it comes from the characters. I spent a lot of time, well, when I was explaining to you, I spent a lot of time telling you about how I told you a little bit about what he was wearing. I said the diction of fedora, in the sense where he's wearing a fedora hat. Capo, which is a crime family. If you're into crime, you're probably evil. And also I said that my detective was a little bit funny as well. When I actually get into the writing part of my story and I build on my characters, I would actually get the opportunity to expand those little aspects, and I would then make my theme more obvious. So we get the evil from the capo, his threats, the weapons, and their dialogue, and we get the good from the detective, and despite his huge personality flaws in this instance, because of the fact that he's in a pretty rough situation with capos coming into his building, he still is almost determined to solve the crime. Okay, so like I said, the capos come in, they threaten him, but he doesn't stop investigating. He's determined to continue his investigation, and that determination from the character, which is a personality trait, being determined is a personality trait. That is where your good comes from. Okay. All right. So anyways, I want to scroll down to the steps. I hope everyone's done with the top. I want to scroll down to the steps on how you yourself can actually link theme to your narrative. And the explanations for these aren't included in the steps below. So if you need me to repeat something, please let me know, because it's actually quite important that you take notes in this part in particular. Okay. So step number 1, sorry, I just want to mute everyone. Okay, so step number 1 is to decide on a common theme. All right, I say common because it's quite difficult to intentionally create a narrative that has been constructed around the theme of society's inability to confront the issues that don't directly relate to them. Like, that's a complex theme. There is no way I would expect any of you to construct a narrative when you are given that theme. Okay, what I would expect is and also the fact that you can't achieve a story for a theme like that in 25 minutes. I tried 3 different times and it just did not work. Okay, so this is why I would ask that you choose common themes. All right, someone has a question. No, they dropped their hand. That's cool. Okay, so choose common themes for short stories. They are more achievable in 25 minutes. That is step 1. Okay. Step number 2 is reliability is everything. So like I tell my year 12s, you want to draw me in with language, tug at my heartstrings, and then you want to rip them to shreds at the end of the narrative if you so choose. If you are capable of doing that, you've 1, kept me engaged, and 2, you've created a narrative your readers can relate to. Okay, and I think I've said this at least twice a lesson for the past 3 lessons, you poor things. But if you are incapable of relating to a narrative or an aspect of a narrative yourself, it's not likely your audience is going to be able to relate to it either. Okay, because you won't be able to achieve it the way it's supposed to be achieved if you don't understand it. All right, and it's very difficult. Let's say you have a complex theme, and I'm going to go back to the complex theme I gave before, which was society's inability to confront the issues that don't directly relate to them. Geez, that's a mouthful. But if you don't understand that yourself, how are you then supposed to construct a narrative around it? You're not. Okay. So remember, choose themes that you can envision and you understand fully. Most of the time, you want to choose themes that you also have language for. Okay, so I'm trying to think of an example. So if we take revenge, or
What's
even
3?
Number 3, and in terms of what the step is called.
Yes.
Number 3. All right, so you can just put, instead of what's written down there for 3, you can just put plan as step number 3. Okay, so like I was saying anyways, because I've lost my point, relatability is everything. And in order to choose a theme and kind of nail it and understand it, make sure you have the vocabulary to go along with it. All right. So step number 3 is plan. So you don't have to write it down the way it's been written on the document. I would just put plan down because that's way simpler. So plan. You should have these, you should have plots, characters, settings all ready to go, okay? And that's why I always write by genre. I write by genre because I already know what my character is going to be like. If I write in the noir genre, I know that my detective is going to have a certain personality. He's going to have a certain kind of attire. It's already been given to me. It's made my job easier to write like that. Sometimes it can be difficult for people to really develop characters, but if you write by genre, it's already given to you, okay? Is anybody confused by what I mean by that? No? Okay. Oh, Advik, do you have a question?
What is noir like a detective thing?
It's a crime genre, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, so you want to have all your plots ready to go, which is why I write in genre, because it's technically given to me. You're looking to mold your narrative elements to the plot. Okay, I think I said that before, but remember that. That's pretty important. And that's why you plan. Because when you're writing, it'd be very difficult to just sit there and have all these narrative elements create a theme. It's better if you sit and plan before you go into any kind of test or exam or school and go, okay, well, this is how my character, or this is what my character could have to help me convey this theme. This is what my plot needs for revenge to be nailed, or power and corruption, okay? A big question?
When we're going to gate, how much time do you think we should take up for planning, or if we should do planning?
Well, I would hope that in gate, how long did I reckon a couple minutes only, okay, if you absolutely need to. But like I said, I have multiple plot lines prepared for any prompt. And these are stories that I've practiced. I always make sure that I have a plot ready to go for any kind of genre or any kind of idea I get from a prompt. Okay, like I just try to link it to things I already know, so it cuts down my planning time.
Yeah.
Okay, Ishan.
Should you try a range of broad topics and themes and genres?
So a range in your narrative writing, as in, should you use revenge, power, corruption, and love in one story?
No.
So what are you trying to ask me?
Like, do you need to, like, can you use more than one, like, theme or genre in, like, one story? Can you?
Okay, so what I asked, okay. No, I would recommend that you stick to one genre for a story, okay?
Okay.
And that would bring me to another step, but I'll get there in a second. It's actually the second last step that you're talking about in this case. Okay, I'll take a couple more. What's step 2? Sorry, I missed that question completely, if that's what you were asking.
What's step 4?
Step 4, okay. So step 4 is to, following on from step 3, is to theme and plot. Okay, yeah, I call step 4 theme and plot because they walk hand in hand. Okay, like I was saying before when I was talking about my example and the plot that I was coming up with then, theme and plot are very important and they walk hand in hand. So keep them friendly. I suggest having plots that you're capable of reusing, like how I was telling Advik before. You want to have plots that you're capable of reusing over and over and over again. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit weird, and I actually would want to know if some of you are writing a new story every time or trying to warp an additional story, like a story that you're comfortable with, to the prompt, because I guess that was one of my strategies when I have to do creative writing, and it's always kind of worked for me in that regard. Okay, so let me get through step 4 and I'll take more questions after that, okay? Right. So when it comes to tests and exams for creative, to this day, I still use the same story and I've used it since year 11. Sure, I add or I butcher based on what I've learned recently, but the plot remains the same for me because that's what I've always been comfortable with and that's my strategy. And therefore the theme I'm trying to convey, so the theme that I'm trying to convey also stays the same based on my plot, okay? So if my plot remains the same for certain stories, my theme is most likely going to be the same. So if my plot is focused on revenge, if on the theme of revenge, let's say I try to reflect that in another narrative, it's most likely that my theme for that narrative will also be revenge, okay, if I use the same plot. Okay. So a very good way to do this is to start with genre, a genre you are very comfortable using. So how I got used to writing in different genres was I just researched them. I also watch a lot of movies, and I'm not sure if as an English tutor, I should be recommending that you go and watch a bunch of movies and try to take in as many plots as you can, but don't be afraid to take inspiration from anything, okay? It just cuts down the planning process so much when you understand what you're writing about. Okay, so questions, Galaxy Tab. That's like the name I'm given, so no? Okay, so Abia, do you have a question? No? Okay, Advik then?
What's the difference between a plot and a theme?
The difference between a plot and a theme. Okay, so theme, like I said before, it's the main idea or the underlying message, and plot is the sequence of events, okay? The sequence of events in a narrative.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Alina. Oh, sorry, yeah,
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Is everybody struggling to hear me?
No, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Galaxy Tab, I think that's your device. I think that's specific to your device. I'm not sure, and I'm not covering my mouth.
She should disconnect and connect again.
Oh yeah, so if you want to do that, why don't you go ahead and disconnect? I'll add you back in. Up to you. All right, Alina, question? No.
What was the word like through courteous practice alternate themes?
Oh, right, courteous. No, that's copious.
What does it mean?
So copious is just referring to an abundance of something. So a large amount. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Like I said, my writing is atrocious. So if there are any words you do not understand, put them in the chat. I'll try to say.
Relatable.
Isha?
What is the best way to get your inspiration or like plan? Like if you don't want to plan, what's the best way you should get your information from?
The best way if you don't want to, well, you should always plan before, if you have the time to plan, you should be planning. That's very important. Structure is also a part of marks when it comes to creative writing. But how I used to do it was I used to read everything in terms of like anything I could get my hand on. I loved to read. But as I grew up, moving into high school, I realized that the fastest way to absorb plots or get inspired by things was through movies and TV series. It's a much quicker way of just absorbing information, because when you think about it, like with noir, any kind of crime movie that I watch to do with noir, 2 seconds, let me just move. Okay, so any kind of movie or TV series that I watch that has to do with noir it's gonna have the elements that I need already, and I'll start to internalize them. So any kind of noir movie I watch is gonna have a hard-boiled detective. It's gonna have a femme fatale. It's gonna use the language and diction that I should try to reflect in my own stories and narratives. So yes, that would be how. I actually don't know who asked the question, but that would be my answer to it. Abia, do you have a question, or was that your question?
Maria.
Yeah.
Yes. Someone asked the question and then they stopped asking the question.
In GATE, do they look at your planning?
I'm actually not sure about that question. You're gonna have to ask Melvin. Yeah, no idea about the planning and whether they check your planning. Okay. Very quickly, I want to move on to step 5, and then I will take more questions. Yes, I will ask the one more question, then I'll move on to step 5. Yeah.
It's not a question, but like last year when I went to GATE, it said that you don't have to do a planning, and planning won't get marked.
Okay, thank you for letting everybody know. That's phenomenal, because I actually didn't know that at all. I actually didn't know whether you get time to plan either. So thanks for clearing that up. Okay, so moving on to step 5. We're up to step 5. Yay. All right, so we've gone through the fact that theme and plot go hand in hand and you want to be reusing plot lines. Number 5 is theme is a fickle thing, okay? Unfortunately, just because you're focused on one particular theme, it doesn't mean other themes won't show their face in your writing. Someone mentioned before whether you can have multiple themes and multiple genres. So here is the exact answer for that question. You can have one genre and you can have multiple themes, but it is better in a short story if you focus on one of those themes, okay? So step 5 is to focus on one theme with the understanding that you will inevitably have or unintentionally create additional themes, okay? And it is not a bad thing to have all these extra themes. You might be disappointed if you feel like you were aiming for revenge and ended up with redemption, okay? But hey, you still have a theme, and that's quite important. So that was step 5. Focus on one theme. Jainan, do you have a question?
Oh yeah. How do you like think of a good resolution? Like how do you quickly think up of one?
Okay, so you shouldn't be writing like I mentioned last week that you shouldn't write a story without knowing the ending before you start writing it. Okay, I know that sounds a bit weird because you would want to start, you end up writing from the beginning and then you resolve at the end, right? But it makes it so much difficult for you to have a very wholesome, very balanced story if you don't plan your ending before you begin writing. Okay.
Okay.
In terms of ending stories, I have like a specific like set on how to do that, and I'll just email you that because that was last week's lesson. It doesn't really have anything to do with theme. Okay, any questions on step 5, which is focus on one theme?
Maria?
Yes.
This isn't a question got to do with step 5, but when you finish doing all that, can you read out the narrative beginning? Because I can't exactly read it. That's a question.
Okay, right. So you don't have to get down the narrative beginning. I'm so sorry, I forgot to delete that, but it is in the theme noir, which is why it's on the page. So if you can't read it, I will end up writing it out or typing it for the document anyways. You can ignore that, by the way. It was just in the theme, so I left it there. All right, and now step 6, and I had this question on how to practice and things like that. Copious practice, my friends. You want to be practicing every day when it comes to theme. If you really find it essential, I know that last week Naman was quite, he really wanted a theme in there, and that's okay. But if you really want a theme, you have to practice it. It can't be something you pull out of your hat at the last second, okay? There must be copious amounts of planning and practice to make sure that you nail it the way it's supposed to be nailed. So when I say I've never missed a day of writing in since year 5, I mean it. So since year 5, I've been practicing writing different plots, different styles of creative writing, and in different genres. The best way to improve your creative writing and to practice your themes is to write every day. It's not a 2 to 3 times kind of situation. I mean every single day. If you decide to focus on a narrative opening on the Monday, by the end of the week, you should have a full narrative. At least you're doing something every single day. And this is directly related to theme, okay? Theme isn't hard to do, but to intentionally pull it off, to intentionally say, okay, I'm gonna write about the theme of revenge today, that is difficult and you need to practice it, all right? So that's step 6, just experiment and practice is step 6. Okay, so I wanna move on to genre now, unless anybody needs me to list down the steps again. I won't go into extreme detail, but I can list them in terms of name. No? Good. All right. Questions before we move on to genre? Vikash? No? Ishan? Questions before we move on to genre?
I had a question about is step number 4 theme and plot?
Yes. Let me just check to make sure that I didn't confuse you. Yes, theme and plot.
And what's step number 5?
Step number 5 is to focus on one theme. Okay, fantastic. Oh, okay. And last questions before I move on to genre.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah, how much do you need me to scroll up by?
Here.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so genre, and if you want to get this definition down if you haven't already. Yes. Okay, so hold on. Sorry, I'm just going to mute very quickly. Okay, so genre, if you need the definition, again, genre is a style or category a text belongs to. Okay, so what does genre consist of? And I'm just going to scroll down. I'm sorry to the person who needed me to scroll up before. So genre consists of 4 elements or 4 parts, the same way theme does. Okay, so genre consists of character, story, plot, and setting. This is where the overlap happens, which is why I thought we'd do theme and genre together. Yay. But understand that they are 2 separate elements. If anybody's confused about the difference after I explain what genres can consist of, please let me know, because I really need you guys not to get confused with these things. Okay, so genre consists of 4 elements. You have character, story, plot, and setting. I learned it through an equation. It's not really an equation, but to get a genre, you want to plus together, in this case, it adds, sorry, again, clearly not a mathematician, story, plot, character, and setting, and that equals genre. The same way story, plot, character, and setting equals theme. But remember, they are 2 separate things. Okay. So note, aspects of story, plot, character, and setting will change depending on the genre. Okay. Is anybody confused about the differences between theme and genre?
Nope.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we know that a genre is just a category a text belongs to, right? Sorry, who said yes, they were confused? If you could just...
Me, Ishan.
Ishan, okay. So a genre is just a category in which a text belongs to, whereas a theme is the main idea or the underlying message of a story. Okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. So and just to clarify that even more, you can have multiple themes in a narrative, You can only have one genre for a text.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. So an example, again, like I did before, the crime and mystery. That's always my favorite genre. Oh, actually, you know, it might be better for you guys to see the type of short story genres that I have always enjoyed writing in, and I feel like I want to see more of these short story genres in year 5 to 6 to 7 writing anyways. I don't even see it enough in year 11 and 12, so it's okay if you guys want to disregard that. That's cool, but it would be really awesome if I could see it. Okay, anyways, crime and mystery. My character, if it's crime and mystery, is going to be a detective. My setting is going to be somewhere where crime is high. I know that sounds very, very broad. Why would I pick a setting where crime is high? Because it just makes it so much easier for me to like develop my cliches and things like that, okay? So plot is obviously something along the lines of a crime being committed or in the works of being solved. So even with genre and when I write in a genre for a short story, if it's crime and mystery, I never actually solve the mystery. That is very hard to achieve in 25 minutes. It would be the world's shortest mystery. And if you can do it, I'd really like to see an example. I really struggle with it personally. So if you can solve a mystery in 25 minutes, please show me how. And one of the things that you want to note is when it comes to I told you that it's story, plot, character, and setting, and that equals genre. When it comes to the story, we're looking at more action-based stories for crime and mystery. Okay.
Maria,
Yes.
a few people in the chat are saying that they can't hear you.
Oh, that's okay. Right. Okay. Can people hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. If
Like
anybody,
yeah, like
if anybody's
Dion.
struggling, Dion. Okay. If a majority.
Maria, I can hear you now.
All right, fantastic. If a majority of you can hear me, I think that's a them problem in their device, not me.
Maria.
Scroll up, please.
Scroll up. Yes, I can. How much?
Maria,
Yes.
how would you end a story? Like, you know how you say that you don't end the crime, the crime. How do you end it without ending the crime? Like, how would you end it?
How would I end my story without solving the crime?
Yeah.
Well, that could be very simple. We know when it comes to a crime, you have to understand what the crime is and then pick a point within that crime, whether it's, halfway through and he's got most of the clues and he's trying to go after the suspects. I might end with him coming to the conclusion that he needs to go interrogate a suspect, or he's just found a clue that could break the case wide open. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So again, when it comes to action, I'm just going to go back to what I was saying before in terms of the example. Action for genre is dependent on the characters, okay? All right, so why you should consider writing, why you should consider genre when you're writing is that it carves down your thinking time. I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. If I'm not mistaken, last year you should have gotten a fish jumping out of a bowl as the narrative prompt for gate. If I'm wrong, someone let me know. But I think it was a fish jumping out of a bowl of water last year's or the year before. My bad.
Yeah,
Maria,
that was
Yes.
I don't think it was this for like last year. I'm pretty sure it was like this few people fishing.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
It was.
Maria, can you scroll down up to the short story genres?
Okay. So all right. Well, anyways, I'm going to use that example anyways. Alina, I'm going to just keep it half and half because I need that image there, okay? So when we look at this image, I hope everybody can see it clearly. Please hold on, just ignore the writing on it. I got a bit bored when I was planning. Okay, so when we look at the prompt, what do we do when we see a prompt? Do we take it as it literally is?
No.
No, good. So we want to be taking ideas out of it, and I'd actually be very interested to know what ideas you guys are getting from this prompt. So if you want to put that in the chat or you want to raise your hand and share it, I'm absolutely cool with either. But I would like to know what you would write about for this prompt. So Janam, you have a question or do you want to share?
I want to share.
Okay, awesome.
Maybe like someone being trapped in a fishbowl and then escaping, or like trapped anywhere.
Awesome, good. So would it be a literal fishbowl that they're trapped in, or would it be like maybe a metaphorical one? A symbolic one?
Metaphorical, like maybe trapped in a cage or something, or like in a warehouse, being kidnapped.
Kidnapped. Oh, okay, awesome. I like that, and I like that you kind of evolved it a little bit. I noticed again, people are saying they can't hear me, and if that is a big problem for everyone, please put that in the chat, and I will change my headphones over. But I'm pretty sure
Maria,
that I'm all good on this end.
I know
Yes.
how to fix it.
Oh, it's okay. They said they can hear me now. We're all good. Okay. So yes, thank you, Johnny. I really like that idea. I like the idea of being trapped. When I was looking at the prompt myself, I got ideas of, I don't know, I thought the fish was a bit of a boy. I don't know, I got the he feeling from it. I said that he was breaking free from his situation. Maybe he felt trapped. Has anyone ever heard of the saying fish out of water? They were like a fish out of water, maybe, no? No, yes, maybe?
Yes.
Yes. Does someone want to explain what that means to me? You can stick your hand up or you can drop it in the chat, up to you. Aaron.
It means when it means like a fish out of water, it means like somebody doesn't belong, like they made a mistake or like they don't belong.
Good, along the lines of not belonging. So a fish out of water, there are two ways you can look at it. In terms of being uncomfortable in a situation you don't belong in, or not belonging to anything really, because well, a fish obviously belongs in water. If he's jumping out of the water, where does he belong now? So you could write stories about characters and a bit of an internal conflict as well when it comes to this prompt. It looks so simple, but there are so very many things you can write about it. Okay. Ishan, you have a question. No,
No,
all right.
I wanted to share something about this topic or theme or prompt.
Yes, yeah, please go ahead. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, yep. Can you
you could do that like somewhat a fish was like, you know, trapped in a fishbowl and had no friends when it went, then one, like its owners let it go to the ocean and it well made friends.
I like that idea. I think it would come down to how you chose to write about it, really.
Okay.
As long, I feel like it's
That's
the
still
only
a literal picture.
The only way you would, sorry, I'm just going to mute everyone. The only way that I would be engaged with that story is if I felt ridiculously sad for that fish. If you made it sound like he was the most lonely fish in the world, if he got to see everybody else, his owners, the people who came into the house in friendships, in relationships, and it was just him in this glass bowl being tapped and observed every day, that would be something that I would want to read about. I'd feel very sad for the fish. If you can make me feel emotion for a fish, I would be very happy to read that story, okay? Don't necessarily make it about he was so sad that he didn't have friends. Exaggerate it to make him the loneliest fish in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Very quickly, because we are running out of time, I just want to show you how I would link the genre to the prompt very quickly, and it's just like a simple sentence. So like I said, I want to take the idea that the idea of being trapped and needing an out, so he wants to break free from his situation. So all I have to do is I just have to warp my plot a little bit to suit the genre in my plot and genre. Yeah, I just have to warp it ever so slightly. So I still have my hard-boiled detective, but in this case, instead of him solving the mystery, I want to put my hard-boiled detective in a position where he feels trapped. I would actually have to go into the overall narrative and decide in where is it possible for my character to feel trapped, and then I would form my whole story out of that one event. Okay. Arbik, you have a question?
The example Melvin said for the fish out of the bowl thing was like it was like a small fish in a big pond or something like that.
Oh, okay, that's a really good one. Do you know what that means?
It's like he said it's like going from primary school to high school. Like you're like a small fish going into like a big pond.
Good. I really like that. And what I would recommend when it comes to your understanding of that is I just want you to see it a small fish in a big pond as someone who isn't as important as they used to be. So now everybody's like you. Okay, so sci-fi. Someone just asked me what sci-fi was. Sci-fi refers to science fiction. Okay, no? Okay, Pav, question.
Can't you just make it another way into like a fish is getting chased by a cat and it has to like jump into a cup next to it?
That's true. You could, but how would your narrative, what would your plot be for that? Like in your story, would your fish just continuously be jumping from one place to another place?
So like it jumps into the cup to the sink, then it like there was a stove next to it, but you have to like land on the pan before you go to the next cup. So it landed on the pan and the cat quickly like pushed a button to turn on the pan, so it made fish food.
Right. Okay. So it would be quite an elaborate story in the sense where he would have to keep moving around to avoid the cat. I'd want to see how that would work with in terms of keeping the engagement, keeping your audience engaged. I want to know how that plot would work. And that would normally just come from you writing an example and like adding your figurative language to it. Ishan, question. And also guys, we are wrapping up and I will take any kind of questions now that don't have anything to do with the lesson as well. Ishan.
Can you send this to me?
So many questions at one time. Yes, I can, but you do have to put your email into the chat if you want this document. It is quite poorly written. It's going to be very difficult to distinguish what my words are. So the warning has been put out there. It's not very neat. Yes, your lesson is over, guys. So if you do have any questions that are unrelated, please ask them. But also the lesson is done. Thank you so much for coming and asking questions.
Bye.
Maria, did you find it?
Bye.
Maria,
Yes.
did you find my email?
No.
Maria, did you find my email?
I have Vikash's email. Yeah.
Do you have mine?
If you sent it last week, I might already have it. Okay.
You have my email.
I sent it I sent it at the start of the lesson.
Yeah, if you sent it at the start, I probably already have it. And if you send me, very quickly, I said it at the beginning, if you send me an education email, I'm not going to be able to send you the document. For some reason, I'm not allowed to send PDFs to the education, any kind of education email, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Maria, did you find it?
Bye-bye.
Maria?
Yep, got it. Don't worry, got it. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Maria,
Yes. Question.
can you say that the fish actually got an owner? rather than it left?
What
Have
do you
you
mean?
got mine?
In the picture, could you say that the fish got an owner rather than it actually left?
What do you mean by got an owner though? Like he
Like he was in the pet store and he jumped of joy because he like found an owner.
Why? But isn't it bad for a fish to jump out of water? Wouldn't he want to remain in the bowl so that he got picked up? I'm not sure. For me, that story wouldn't necessarily keep me engaged, but if you could find a way to make it interesting in a sense where who's the owner, why did the fish jump out of the bowl if he wants to, you know, go home with someone, then yeah, sure, go for it.
And okay, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before I go, I want to ask you, like, so you got my email, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so for today, like, will you come? Like, what class do you like? Come only on the online class?
Yes, I'm just here every Sunday, 6 to 7.
Okay, well then goodbye.
Bye.
Maria,
Yes.
did you get my mom's email? I sent that.
Yes, got it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Maria.
Yes, I got your email, Neelam.
Maria,
Get my
Maria, can we stay behind class to write all of that down?
Oh, that you're a very, very motivated individual. You're absolutely welcome to. Yes.
Thank you.
Maria, did you get mine?
Who said that? I'm so sorry.
Bye.
Bye. Ainsley, are you still in the class? No. Okay, very quickly. Someone asked whether it was better to write a good or a bad ending. I wasn't too sure what you meant by that. What do you mean? Where one where your character dies and one where your character lives?
Yes.
Right. Well, that's honestly dependent. I actually like killing off my main characters, but whether you can pull that off in 25 minutes and give a good enough reason to kill your main character off, then sure. Okay, guys, I am. Is everybody good for me to end the meeting now, or are there still some things you needed to get down? Alina, if you want, I can send this to you if you don't have an education email.
I was just gonna screenshot it and then I'll write it down later.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, bye, Maria.
Bye.
Bye. See you next.
See ya. All right. And I will see you guys next week. Okay, ciao.
Wait, could you give us some examples for a fish and a bowl?
Oh, you actually want me to write them down?
Yes, because if I was gonna do a writing, then I wouldn't know what to write.
Right, okay. All right, I'll get them down and I'll send them to the people who gave me their emails. But are you wanting them right now?
Yes. Wait, do you have to write about a fish and a bowl?
What do you mean, sorry?
Could you write like something not related about a fish and a bowl?
As long as you take the idea out of the prompt, then you should be fine. You don't have to use the fish and the bowl in a literal sense. The fish and the bowl could end up being a metaphor.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
No problem. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.